Greg's always the first one to the call. I think
Yeah,
if we put the link up, he would probably beat us on here and we'd jump on. He'd be waiting for us. We
he's
should
one
give
of,
him access from now on to run these things.
he's one of my favorite students. Oh wait, this is being recorded. We don't want everyone else to know that, right?
You don't want to say that. Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy holidays. Hey,
Morning.
thanks, Scott. I just spent the last 15 minutes looking for the link and then it pops up 5 minutes. So I should just be a little more patient. So lesson learned on my part, but thanks.
Well,
I just told Scott the next time he makes an announcement to have that link already prepared. And that's just an admin thing behind the scene. We'll do it in Zoom.
Yep. And Dean and myself are both like you, that if we're 15 minutes early, that's on time. And Dean always messages me 15 minutes early, like, are we going? Are we going? And he always beats me about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And I'm glad he's the same way. I'm glad you're the same way as well. That's a huge thing. Oh, Greg, by the way, I'm going to shoot you a message later today. One of the things Dean and I are going to talk about today is kind of a contest he has going on, but also I want to talk with all the students that have or are currently going through the program. We're going to go through kind of your after action report, but also I want to have some specific questions for you about kind of what your passion was to get into the program and the biggest results you've gotten out of the program and the things you've loved the most. So I'll send you that information and hop on, because then we'll kind of just do I'm going to just do a 10, 15 minute call with everybody with that and get the after action report, which obviously was an email, because then you and Dean can really go into detail of where to make 2022 you shooting your best golf game ever.
Sounds good. Thanks, Scott.
So,
And then the other piece is, how can we get better? Like be critical of, well, if you had this, it'd be great. If this was easier, things like that. Cause I want to make sure in over the last 3 years, there's certain things that I've actually pulled out of the program because it was just fluff and it wouldn't get you to the goal any quicker. It was just more stuff and it didn't make sense. So that's why I pulled it out. So any feedback like that would be great.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you for that offer there, Scott. If we could sit down and talk about that, as Dean, you're a disciple of training, but you need good training, and you need organized training. And, it's funny, I know you and I talked about Tony Robbins and Mark, before and all. When I was working for Tony Robbins, he's awesome. He's got a great program. I thought their training program could use some work, by the way. I offered to be their training guy, but they didn't want me, because their mom and pop organization worked perfectly for them. But yeah, I would love to talk that with you, Scott, if that'd be great, about training.
Oh yeah, Scott. So Greg knows our master, Mark Van
Mark
Muser.
Van Muser, I was just going to say when you said Mark, and then obviously I put that connection together. That's awesome. And Greg, that obviously comes from you and Dean's military background, right?
Correct.
I mean, it's that structured, and that's some of the stuff Dean and I are working on that we've been the past really 60 days of looking at some of the things that we can best to not only take you guys to your best golf, the quickest, the best way possible, but also some of the contest stuff we're going to talk about and things like that. But Dean's got obviously huge aspirations where he wants low 70s golf to be, springboarding here into 2022. And it's really exciting stuff for me to be part of, for you guys and for Dean and everybody. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, Scott, so am I. And just listening to you both talk about that, and again, I'll do a call with Dean, but if we can talk about this I think I'm a hard worker. I think I devote myself, but maybe a little more structure just to me, okay, every morning, here's what I want to do. I want to do the disassociated, shoulders. I want to do the, backswing for 3 minutes. And just, there's so much out there, Dean, on your program, which is awesome. But I want to develop it for myself, starting January 1st, for lack of no other reason other than January 1st, to go, this is what I want to do every day. I want to putt on the stick every single day, those kinds of things. And that's just my background from flying airplanes. First simulator, you learn how to start the airplane, and all the emergencies, second simulator, you do these emergencies. So if Scott, if you're willing to talk about that, I'd like to just discuss that also. So thank you.
Yeah, so let's talk about a little bit of that now.
Yep.
And the reason being, because when The other realm, or the other spectrum is, oh, you know, I don't have that. They don't need that structure. They're so busy. They're just trying to figure it out. And that's the cool part about having that flexibility, to where the very first 10 days, your objective is to learn how to read a green. That's by watching a couple videos and then going out and doing the ball rolls and things like that, hitting the yardstick drill. And so when you put that pressure on someone, hey, every morning you got to do this, then that pressure comes to overwhelm the human being, and then they contract and they don't get the result. But that's what I love about the weekly calls, to find out where you're at. But even where we're talking about this after action report, this is where we'll be able to find out what your weaknesses are. And then, hey, this is what you're going to do. What you're looking for, Greg, is this every single day.
Got it. But I know, when I first met with you, Dean, trying to make my upper body not make it turn without my lower body turn, that was a challenge, but if you work at it, you'll get at it. And I noticed if I don't work at it for a week or so, I'm not starting all over, but it's just something that, it's that constant maintenance, of, keeping your car running, keeping your body. And I know you say that once you get your skills, you're good for life. I got all that. But
well, I'll give you something to help you for the week. It's really just a stork turn. You take your driver and just, put this here, put one of your legs here, and just do this. And what this does, if you're looking in your golf swing, when you're back here, you're disassociating where your hips are going to start first. And so you're practicing a stork turn where you're just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you go the other leg the other way, 1, 2, and so forth. But yeah, we can put more stuff like that, and really appreciate the feedback on that, Greg.
yeah, that's good. I'll do that again. And I copy and understand, not to overwhelm your students, because we all have these things called a day life, a day job, and all that other kind of stuff. But if I'm going to give you if I'm going to do 30 minutes to this, I want to make it the most focused, concentrated training to go, do this, do the one arm pull downs, do 2 minutes to 5 minutes on the impact bag, all that stuff, just, kind of just to stay, and then focus on the things, based on, your good piece of paper here, where you want to be elite, and how you work on that stuff. So.
Cool. We'll definitely attack that all in 2022 for sure.
Thank you, sir.
Mike Murdoch's on here. He's in the Ghost protocol though.
How goes it?
How goes it? We can't see you, sir. It goes well.
Oh, my laptop's closed. Let me open up. Sorry about that.
Oh, this guy. Greg, you'll love this guy. Mike's a happy person just like you, man.
Hello, Mike. Good morning
Yes.
to you. Happy holidays, or good afternoon. Happy holidays.
Yeah, same to you. Although I'm looking out the window at fresh snow, but that's okay.
Me too, Mike. Me too. Where are you at?
I'm in Marion, Iowa.
Okay. I'm a little bit more north. I'm Minneapolis, Minnesota. So
Yeah, I'm 4 hours away from you.
yep, we're close.
I spent a lot of time in Minneapolis. I worked for General Mills for 39 years. So
Gotcha. Oh yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, hey, Mike, you get 10 points already just by having the John Wooden pyramid over your right shoulder. So
how you like that?
well done, sir.
So I got to share this with you. Hopefully you can see a little closer. Can you see the picture on? Look, I'm going the wrong way. Can you see the picture on the bottom of that?
Yeah.
That's a picture of me and Coach Wooden on August 11th, 2007, sitting in the Vips Cafe that he used to go to every morning to have breakfast. And my boss that I worked for at the time set up a surprise visit to meet with Coach. So got 2.5 hours of time with Coach Wooden that morning, just listening to his wisdom, and changed my life. Changed my life from that point forward. And so, yeah, fortunately after that, still got a chance for about another 5 years or so after that to interact with Coach Wooden on a fairly regular basis because of the relationship that my boss had with him. But
What
I
would you
appreciate
say?
you saying that.
What would you say in those 2 hours that changed life? What was the one or two key defining moments that you would say that?
Well, first and foremost was focus on the things that you can control. You can't control everything, but focus on the things that you can control and be the best at those that you possibly can through dedication and hard work. And, you know, some of the things that he shared and talked about that kind of brought it to the front and to make it relatable. So here's the example that he shared with me that just today sticks in my head. And if you stop and think about it, as an athlete and in particular as a basketball player, which he coached, and you know, he had that run of all those years of coaching national championship teams. One of the things early on in his career that was frustrating was at the very beginning of the season, the first couple of days, some of his best players would have to sit out a day or two because they'd get blisters on their feet because of not putting their socks on properly. So if you remember back in the days, back in the 60s, 70s, when he was, you know, prevalent in coaching the national championship teams and everything else is, they wore two pairs of socks a lot. And so as something as simple as not putting on that first sock and making sure you got the wrinkles out before you put the second sock over the top of it, because that crease or that wrinkle on the back of the heel is what would cause a blister. And that's how they started practice every year, was sitting down in the locker room and going through putting socks on 101. And that was, think about the people that played for him back in that time frame. Everybody went through that. It was learning the basic fundamentals that doesn't allow failure to show up and prevent not only that individual, but the impact of that not individual being able to participate in practice, and how that impacted the entire team. Was the little things take care of the big things is the message. Man alive, and I was a wrestler growing up, but I could relate to that just because of the simplicity of how important it is to do those little tedious things that make all the difference in the world. And then he just really continued to talk about fundamentals, that the great players, the great teams are successful because they focus on the fundamentals that other teams and other individuals think are irrelevant and they don't want to spend time working on. And that's what makes them good teams, that collectively as a team, they would dedicate themselves to doing, when they were doing drills and stuff like that in practice, they were all in, 100% committed to, we're going to, you know, if we're setting a screen, if we're cutting, if we're doing ball handling drills, it wasn't just going through the motions, is we're doing it as if it was game situation. So I took that back to work, was, you know, focus on the little things, those things that you think are not relevant and important. And if you worry about those, the big things that you spend 90% of your time on never happen, because of the fact that you've done the things to prevent that from occurring. So that was probably some of my biggest takeaways from it. And I could go on and on. I apologize to ramble, but I could go on and on talking about.
That's not rambling. That's giving more success knowledge to everybody out there.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. Nope. Very,
Hey,
very
Mike,
good, powerful stuff, man.
have you ever read Jeff Olson's Slight Edge or Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life?
I have not. Nope.
I just put them in a chat. Jeff Olson's Slight Edge is basically
Slight Edge. Okay.
The Slight Edge, yep, by Jeff Olson. And it goes a deep dive into that. It's your small daily disciplines done daily over time is where massive success happens. And the book is a really quick, easy. He uses a lot of stories and analogies. It's super good. And then Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules of Life. You know, one of his basic things is clean your room. Right? Because it's those small things that we don't pay attention to that cause great success. And I think he's one of the best coaches, talkers, people out there on the planet right now. And when you look at Greg and Dean coming from a military background, what do they have you do? You're meticulously working on just those small things, your bed, your shoelaces, your socks, right? Because you can't perform without those small things. And that's what made Kobe Bryant great too. That's his Mamba mentality, right? Why are you out practicing first grade basketball moves for an hour intently every single day? Because the moment your basics fall apart, everything falls apart at that point.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, you know, Greg and I still make our bed every morning.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then I just picked up at the library today, The Hero Code, McCraven's next book, or his, I don't know if it's his more recent book, but pretty simple, you know, life lessons, leadership lessons, all good.
Yep.
All good. You know, the first time you learn to go to the aircraft carrier at night in the simulator, you start at 3.5 miles, 1,200 feet behind the ship. It's dark, it's heck, it's just a simulator. And then at 3.2 miles, you know, you reduce the power, set the nose down, and you set 650 feet per minute. If you don't do that, you start all over. And most people on their very first simulator don't get past, you know, setting 650 feet, not 600, not 700 feet per minute. And it's just building that basic fundamental to start. You know, it's kind of like starting your swing. It's like starting in golf. But yeah, it's those little things that you build on and get better.
Dean, how do you get dressed every morning? What's your mindset?
I don't think about it.
It's a par golfer or better, right?
Well, how do I get dressed every morning?
Yeah, I mean, your mindset of like, hey, this is who I am.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't even think about getting dressed. I just make my bed and get up and go meditate.
Yep.
My first move in the morning is to make my bed and then go meditate. You know, and sometimes it might be an hour, sometimes it might be 2 hours, just fighting and trying to quiet down the monkey mind. Yeah.
If you don't do those two things, how's your day go?
I don't know.
You don't miss it anymore, right? It's just part of who you are. Yeah. But those are those small little things that some people are like, oh, I can skip it today, and it doesn't work.
Yeah. So probably 8-9 months ago, I took TV out of the house entirely. There's no TV in the home. So lately I've been spending 2 hours in the morning, 2 to 3 hours at night, just working on meditation, working on connecting coherency between my brain and my heart. Because when you can connect that coherency to the frequency and energy around you, there is no stress, there is no disease. Yeah, the body is always going to break down, but you know, how you take care of it by connecting the heart and the brain to the field is where the power is at. So this is just a Q&A. So if you guys have questions, fire away. It's just going to be a quaint fireside chat.
So you spend an hour to 2 hours a day kicking your day off with that process.
Yeah. And I can share some good stories about that. So Greg knows Mark Von Musser. Mark Von Musser, one of my mentors, set all kinds of records in Bud's Academy, but he's just a peak performance guy. You know, he knows everything about everything, it seems like. And one of his students, Trevor McGregor, we talked about this book, Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I bought the book, got into the first chapter, and it took me to his website, saw the website. I'm like, wow, I want to go to a week-long retreat, talk to Coach Jesse. She's like, well, you can't go until you do the 12-week progressive. So December 8th of 2018, I bought the progressive for $300 and I consumed a 12-week course in 8 days. That's how fascinating that stuff is. So Christmas Eve, I buy it for my parents and I sit my mom down here and my dad down here, open up the laptop, hit play. And for 20 minutes, got them both engaged because Dr. Joe's an engaging human being. And I got up, left in the top, and I said, if you guys want to live longer, just, start studying this. And then the next year I was like, well, I'm going to take you to a week-long retreat in Portland. Never made it to Portland, but I got tickets to go to Niagara Falls. So we're in Niagara Falls in September of 2019 for a week. And that's the first time I was ever able in my entire life to unplug from business. Just shut it down. No emails, no nothing, didn't check in. I had it all taken care of, just someone just handle it for me. And during that time, my dad had a hard time walking 50 feet. And so we were at Niagara Falls and we'd have to walk to Niagara Falls. And so they would leave like an hour early just to get down there. But during this week-long meditation retreat, we're in this room and there's 1,600 people in this room. And during one of these meditations, Dr. Joe is having us all just focus on our heart. Open your heart up and give life to another human being just with your love. And so there's a study where there was a robot in a cage and these little chickadees. The robot was supposed to be a randomized robot, but the energy of the chickens caused the robot to come close to the chickens. And so what that study showed that Dr. Joe during this meditation would put all of us 1,600 divided by 8 into 8 people circles. And in the other room, there were people that wanted to get some type of healing from their condition. And they would bring that person and lay him on the floor in front of everybody in the circle that's just sending energy out of their heart. And my dad was sitting there and he saw electricity shoot out of his hand into the woman on the ground, through the lady, all the way back up through the cement, up his legs, back, and healed himself instantaneously. And so my mom passed away, like 3 months later. And then I ended up taking my dad and my nephew to another week-long retreat meditation in Marco Island this January. And during one of the healing ceremonies, like the 5th or 6th day, my dad was way deep into the field, standing up, shaking for 20 minutes, and he healed his heart attack when he was 50. So I was able to heal my back in May by doing the healing codes from a book by Dr. Alexander Lloyd and Ben Johnson, but also laying down and doing a meditation from Dr. Joe. And about 40 minutes in, I felt energy, massive amounts of energy in my back. And next thing you know, my back was healed. So my goal, Mike, is to just become a master meditator, become the best version of myself, to be able to connect, regardless of what anybody believes. Something created us, some magical power, some mystical power, your God, whatever you want to talk about it. We're not here by mistake. Something created us, and we have the ability to learn how to understand how the body works. There's no manual on how this thing works. There's no operating system. Hey, where's the manual for this human body? But there are some mystics like Sadhguru or Dr. Joe that can teach you how the brain and body work, and you can actually connect to the field and let your autonomic nervous system function optimally. Your digestive system, your cardiovascular system, your nervous system. That's all automatic, and it becomes inefficient because of stress, poor diet, poor exercise, poor sleep. And when you get those things in alignment, and then great, you can have all those things in alignment, but if you don't connect this heart to your brain, it's still hard to live the optimal life. And so the answer to your question is, I'm working hard, my ass off 3, 4, 5 hours a day, trying to learn how to operate this system of mine.
Interesting.
Because when I'm able to do that, then things that seem like impossible, like winning a Valspar championship, might not be that impossible. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I connect to the field, and there's a potential for me to stand on the 18th green at the end of Sunday at 6 o'clock holding the trophy, is there a potential in the field for that to happen? Of course there is.
Yeah.
So with a clear intention in an elevated emotion, in a coherent brain and body. So the mind sends out the electrical signal, and the heart is the magnetic to bring it back. And there's tools and techniques of how to do that. And so I've been to a week-long meditation retreat in Niagara Falls. February, March of 2019, I flew to Germany for a 4-day advanced follow-up, which is pretty epic. And then I went to another one here in Florida in January this year for the week-long.
Interesting.
It's a lot of
We'll
work,
have to have
man.
more discussion about that. I need to think about that.
So if you go to drjoedispenza.com, he has a program. It's called the Online Intensive and Progressive. I post it in every single group. I posted in our student group. I posted in our free group. I've discussed it hours and hours and hours, countless of times. Online, progressive, and intensive. It's a $299 program. If I had one life to live, I would start there. Because there's so much power in you, but you can't do it with your conscious mind. You got to do it with your subconscious mind. You got to go from right now where we're all sitting here relaxed in a low beta brain wave. You've got to go down into the alpha wave. And then when you can get near alpha and theta, then you can get into the subconscious. And if you go even a little bit deeper past delta into gamma, gamma is where the healings occur. I met a great woman, Lori Daniels, at Niagara Falls. And that last day, she actually healed herself of stage 4 breast cancer, but we didn't know about it until we saw her again in Marco Island in this year, where she had a chance to tell me, and she told my dad the story, and she actually did a live video testimonial for Dr. Joe, talking about how she was able to heal her entire body completely of stage 4 breast cancer. And that's just one of, I would say, over thousands of healings from people that have been to Dr. Joe's retreats, or even just reading his book and practice the formula. There's a simple formula.
I'm going to have to get online and look at some more of the details around that.
Yeah, there's a link right in the chat box here that Scott put there for you. Just click on the link in the chat box.
I'll grab that. Cool.
You guys have any questions about golf, about strategy, about life, about fitness?
Yeah, I'll throw out two things, just kind of same church, different pew, what you're talking about there, Dean. What the Health, watching that, pretty popular. I've watched it probably 3 times. My wife has watched it 10 times, because anybody that comes over, we have to watch it again. So again, it's all part of.
I love your wife, man. That's awesome.
So do I. She's awesome. And then the other thing, again, same kind of general area. Scott, I remember one call a couple of weeks ago where you talked about flexibility, and that if a person is unconscious, you can actually bend them all kinds of different ways. Is that true? That's in your world?
Yep.
And so every time I do my morning stretching, I always remember that, because, okay, I can go a little further, because what's holding me back isn't my physical body. It's probably my brain, kind of stuff. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
And yeah, and Dean talking about meditation and getting the control. And when you go under general anesthesia, because your nervous system and your muscular system together now are shut off, so it won't feel pain. So yeah, a surgeon can take you and bend you any sort of way. So when you are stretching, if you can learn to relax and breathe through that pain, is where then you start controlling that muscle control, because you feel pain because your body is worried for some reason, just like emotion gets trapped in the body and causes issues, that some of the pain that you're feeling when you're stretching, the easiest way to think about it is if you take a rope and you tie it in a knot, that knot is there. The knot's not supposed to be there, and that's your fascia. So your muscles won't move properly, and your body is basically setting up programs to protect it from injury. And so you learning, once you're stretching, if you're just doing like a simple stretch, the moment you feel tension, that's your body starting to lock into place so there's not an injury. So once you hit that point, if you can calm your mind down and breathe through it, and the way I try to describe it, actually, where you feel that pain, think of it like a balloon. Take a deep breath in, feel that area expand. Exhale, relax your body and stretch just a little bit further, and you will start getting that pattern interrupted and break free. And that's where the flexibility comes in. And that's why some people that do like yoga never actually, or other stretching, never see improvement, because they just put themselves into a point of pain, but never learn how to relax and move through that to increase that. And that's really where meditation is really, and you don't need to meditate to stretch to get it, but the ability to calm your body, your mind, and your nervous system, get them to act one and do what you want to do, is what a lot of people are missing. And like Dean said, you don't have there's not an operating manual. And so some of this is self-discovery or going to masters that can teach you that. Dr. Joe is good when it comes down to that type of meditation. Wim Hof is another good one. And the great thing about like some of these people that are coming out now, the science that they have, the technology they have people connected to, right? And they're able to actually show on technology, this person just changed their physiology through their breath and their mind. And that's where we have to get, like Dean said, he got rid of all of his TVs because that technology is a distraction. You're separating yourself from your operating system, which is your body and your mind being connected as one. So it takes a little bit of time, but just practice that. And I do visualize when I am working through things to focus on that area. And just like when you take a deep breath in and your lungs and your stomach expand, think about that pain area. It's expanding as well. You can control that contraction just like I can control my fist or relax it. So any part of your body, you can do that. It's something I had to learn in martial arts and also bodybuilding in my fitness profession as well, of how do I just contract just my shoulder blade to pull it back, get my posture right. And if I can't, why is that? Is it because something's tight or because my mind's not connected to that area? And so part of those processes, and like Dean just doing the stork twist, that's just getting your body to realize how to move that function. And so you're just training that. If you don't do that daily, how would you know how to do it? But once you do it, it's like riding a bike, you hop back on so you can go right back on. And you said that earlier too, is, hey, if I don't do it for a week, it's not that I forgot how to do it, but it takes a second to re-engage that whole process that your body has memorized. And that's what's awesome about Dean's program too, is a lot of people just automatically go right back to their old operating systems, physically, mentally, emotionally, all that type of stuff. And you have to train yourself out of that stuff multiple ways to really get that transformation result from that too. So.
Good stuff, Scott. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions, Mike?
I am, as you know, Dean, just starting to figure this retired life out and trying to put together a daily strategy routine that sets me up for kind of everything you guys are talking about, both physical and mental good health, and have that lead me to a better, more consistent golf game. So that's something that I'm trying to work on and putting the pieces to the puzzle together. And actually, you and I have some one-on-one time on Monday set up. And that's part of what I want to talk about as well, is on Monday. And obviously I don't want to tie up everybody's time here, but just something to think about as we get together Monday morning and talk. That's kind of what I want to work on. Whether you want to call it my New Year's resolution, my retirement resolution, whatever is appropriate, as I get ready to, really live life differently than what I have for my first 60 years, and especially the last 40 of working. What's a routine that makes sense and is going to allow me to be as successful as I want it to be?
Awesome. So then this is a great jumping point for some training then. So I want you guys to write down the guaranteed success formula and then underline it. The guaranteed success formula. It's 4 parts. Number 1 is you focus on victory. Number 2 is you do not settle. Number 3 is you meditate, you visualize, and you feel the outcome before it happens. Believing it first before you see it, type of thing.
Say that one more time for me, would you please, Dean?
Yep. Step 3.
Yep.
Yes. So step 3 is you focus. You meditate, you visualize, and you feel the wish fulfilled. You have to believe it first. Most people say, "Oh, I got to see it before I believe it." No, you have to believe it first. So you visualize and you feel it. What would it feel like to shoot a 72? What would it feel like to have 0 back pain and flex it with a 19-year-old? And then step 4 is you do the most important thing first. And so we're going to spitball a little bit here. So if we look at the screen, this is just a typical wheel of success. You have physical environment, business, career, finances, health, family, friends, romance, personal growth, and you can make up your own shit. I've got a wheel for golf, right? The wheel of golf is putting, finesse wedge, bunker, distance wedge, full swing, fitness, core strategy, and mindset. And so we'll stay on this pie here and then we'll break off into some golf stuff. But this pie here, if you use the guaranteed success formula, let's just use the orange one, health. So Greg, his wife, probably has delicious foods fresh from the ground, off a tree, nothing processed in the home all day long. Because she's watched What the Health and she's wise enough to realize what health really means to her and Greg. So how would you rate yourself on health? Health includes exercise, diet, sleep, limited amounts of stress, meditation. And then you can also have a goal. Like what would be your goal would be number 1, victory. So if your goal is to, Mike, what would be a goal example for health for you? Do you have a certain weight or a certain, how do you measure health?
Yeah. So I know that I need to lose some weight and I know that I want to get down to basically my desired targeted weight is 172 with better cardio conditioning with a clear mindset.
All right. How young are you? How tall are you?
I'm 60. I'm just a hair under 5'9".
And what do you weigh right now?
185. It just fluctuates a little bit. 185 is consistent.
All right. So I love telling stories. So August 24th, on a Wednesday, 2017, I had a conversation with my mentor, Mark Von Muser. Greg knows him very well. And I'm like, Mark, I'm always working out. I'm doing this stuff. And I just can't seem to get rid of this belly fat. He's like, well, what you need to do first, Dean, is you need to stack a new belief system and an identity. And so he started spitballing. He's like, all right, so you're 47, you're ripped and shredded, you stop traffic. And I thought about it. And that brings back to when I was 25, just out of the military. And I'm like, I'm 47, I'm rich and shredded, I fucking stopped traffic. So that sentence there gave me there's power in that emotion. So there's the thought, which is the intention, and there's the elevated emotion. 47 ripped and shredded, I fucking stopped traffic, brought that feeling when I was 25 of knowing what it looks like to stop traffic. You know what we're talking about, right, Greg? So that was the conversation I had Wednesday night, August 24, 2017, and that became my mantra. Right then and there, I made the decision that all the other bullshit stories that I kept telling myself ended. And so all I kept focusing on is that future identity. The victory was being 47 ripped and shredded, I fucking stopped traffic. 47 ripped and shredded, I stopped traffic. That was the victory. I didn't settle for anything else, number two. And I meditated and I visualized and I felt, primarily, I just felt what it would feel like to be 47 ripped and shredded. And then step forward is the most important thing first. Now, here's the caveat, Mike. I hate fucking spin bike. I hate cardio. I hate anything that has to do with that kind of stuff. But I woke up every morning at 6 a.m. I got a professional grade spin bike. I had it on the patio and I got up at 6 o'clock, empty stomach, and I just started spinning. I got to 15 minutes. I got to 17 minutes every day. That was my goal, 17. And then sometimes I get to 30. Sometimes I get to an hour. But most of the time, I average maybe 30 minutes. Now, I did that for 60 days straight. But actually, I only did it for 51 because on the 51st day, we had a hurricane come through Florida and I left the state for 9 days. But the point is, because I stacked that new belief system, that new identity, by the time that I went to California for some training with Mark and the team, I was fucking 47 ripped and shredded. So what you have to do is you have to come up with some words that feel good to you. I'm 55, ripped and shredded, I stopped traffic. You don't have to be 60. I'm still 47, guys. I don't know if you noticed that. I have never left 47. Never left it. In 5 years, I still never left it because it's part of my DNA. Now, the other part about health, and it's in the Facebook group, and I'm pretty sure it's in the membership site. If you search in affirmations, you'll see that part of the affirmation in my example. I'm wonderfully healthy. All my organs, cells, joints, muscles, and vision are working perfectly. I'm a well-conditioned elite athlete and a Valspar champion. Now, that last sentence, everything else I've been saying since 2005. Since 2005, I've been saying to myself, I'm wonderfully healthy. All my organs, cells, joints, muscles, and vision are working perfectly. I'm a well-conditioned elite athlete. Been saying that for over a decade. My subconscious believes it. And what is the operating system? The subconscious. And so if your subconscious knows that you're going through stress and knows you're eating fucking, processed foods and you're drinking and you're not sleeping and you're not exercising, the subconscious knows that your body's ripe for disease, ripe for breaking down, needs a new oil change, needs new tires, needs new legs, new hips. And these new hips and these new shoulders are all common because it's the easy way out. So you can apply that wheel of success and the wheel of golf success for everything. This is why we always do an after action report. So rate yourself on putting. So for me, I'm aware of where I'm at all day long in that pot. And all I work on right now is ball striking. Sure, I'll spend a few minutes doing the other stuff, but those are not my weaknesses. My weakness is ball striking. My weakness is timing. And so that's where I spend most of my time. So you find out what your weaknesses are and then go back and do the training. When it comes to putting, are you really good at green reading? Are you really good at hitting your line? I know everybody on this call is really good at putting because we break it down so simple. I would take both you guys on my team in a putting contest. because you've been through the training. You've passed 15 in a row. You've read the greens. You're good at the 6-foot ladder drill. You can do left hand, right hand. You can do blindfold because you've trained it. So what areas in your golf game do you feel is a challenge right now? Mike, and then I'll go to Greg.
Well, I would say what I am looking for and what I've been working on in the basement. I've showed you my little workout room down there, but what I've been working on is just consistency in my takeaway and returning to the ball. Just, and part of that has to do with this, the wall stretching that I'm doing, and just the takeaway is huge, that I'm working on my takeaway to be more consistent, to allow me to come back through the same slot that I feel like I want to be in. So that's a big part that I've been working on. I've been on a daily basis. I've been working on that takeaway and getting my turn where I believe it needs to be.
Is that the one that we did the training a couple weeks ago about the cone and everything?
Yeah. Yep.
That's great, because I talked to Matt Miller last night. Matt's 58 years young. He came in 85, 92, and he's already fired a 67, 68 in 5-7 months.
Nice.
But his whole conversation last night was, dude, that cone drill was the best thing ever. He's been doing it every day for 3 weeks, and his ball striking is just phenomenal. So
I'm gonna find out next week.
Yeah, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
I'll be in Myrtle Beach next Wednesday for 6 days, so I'm gonna find out how much the drills are helping.
Now we got some guys down there. Allen's down there, and Calvin Peck's down there. You might want to connect with those guys.
Monday we can talk.
Yeah.
I'll get some names and contact stuff.
Well, what I encourage you to do, and we'll talk Monday, is in the Facebook group, our student group. Hey, Dean said there's some guys down here in Myrtle Beach. I'm coming down. Make a comment here so we can connect.
Yep.
This is a great community, man. There's a lot of great men and women in here. That's why we're here.
I'll get out there and do that.
Cool. Mr. Greg?
So this is all good. So kind of staying the same thing, again, I'm a guy who likes metrics, because, you get what you measure. You got to measure something to know if you're getting better or not. And, I took your assessment today, and, I'm no higher than a 5 on anything. So I need to work on a lot, but again, it's relative. It's my standard. I determine what I think is a 5 and what is a 1 and one is a 10. I'm honored, and I think I'd be a great teammate of yours on your putting team, because I think I can do that, but I still only give myself a 4, mainly because I want to be elite, and what elite is you don't miss any of the small stuff, inside a, 5 feet, 10 feet and all that. The 3 things I want to be elite on are the distance wedges, because I know if my distance wedges are better and closer, and I know I can guarantee 2 putt, if not 1 putt, that's guaranteed to lower the score. And then the last thing is the elite thing is finesse wedges. I've watched all the videos. I'll have some days. I actually did the that one drill, what they call it, 22 or 23, with 9 balls. One time only. You're only as good as your last landing, and you're only good as your last game. I had a 17. If you do the math on that, that's pretty darn good. A 17. But I'm not consistent. I'll still chunk one. So those are the 3 areas, and then always, ball striking. Being a good striker, because if you keep the ball in play in the fairway and you keep the ball going straight off your irons, all those other things will continue to lower your score.
So then, if you're a 5 and all, the way I would attack it first and foremost is in your last 3 rounds. Where did you lose most of the strokes? How many fairways did you hit? How many greens did you hit? How many chips and pitches did you hit? And how many putts did you have?
Yeah, I have all that. I track that. And again, I go shot by shot, and circle the ones that I need to work on and look for the trends, that aren't good. Like I started out, we just got back from Florida, Tried to go to Myrtle Beach, Mike, but we couldn't get on the course yesterday because it was just too busy. But that was my fault. But it's a little of everything, Dean. You know, that's my issue. You know, some days I'll have the driver. You know, I'm hitting all the fairways. I'm feeling good about that. Other days I'm not hitting any greens, but I'm finesse wedging well and one putting. You know, and then my putts are down to 20 or 29. So you know, I said 5 was my highest, and that's only in core strategy and discipline. Everything else is below that. So you know, I haven't done a good job of focusing.
So where I would start over this weekend is I would go back and watch Best Full Swing Part 1.
Okay.
I would rewatch as many educated hands training as possible.
Okay.
But really, when it comes down to ball striking, it'd be the hand path, turn down, release. And part of that stems from the takeaway, which Mike was talking about. When you can master that takeaway, and we'll end on the finesse wedge training I'm going to have you to do as well. So when you can just keep working on this, and you can do it simply with the wall, where all I'm doing is I'm making sure that my hips are turning. Now I've got a full hip turn. Now when I turn my hips, my shoulders go automatically, right? So then all I have to do is just stretch a little bit further and get up here. And there it is in the back of the swing. Now you can see this nice gapping motion here, where there's this gap right here. This is perfect. It's just perfect. And if you don't have this type of gap, well, then we got to train that gap, because what happens is you're probably doing something like this, which is inefficiency. There's an additional move. So this is critical, and so is this for the finesse wedges. You can work on this. Now, if my hands are tied to my body and I turn my hips, everything else just trails behind. That's why the kinematic sequence in the full swing is the hips, shoulders, arms, hands, and club head. This is the kinematic sequence. So I will be working on this a lot. This is the same thing as Excalibur. Here we are impact fixed, and we're just pulling that out, making sure we get this to rotate. Because what happens is everybody's firing down with the shoulders and the arms, and the hips are stopped, and then you either get that pull or you get that hook. Because the club face is overtaking because the hips have stopped, when the hips never got involved. So to eliminate the inconsistency with the finesse wedges, my biggest fix is I used to do a lot of this wrist cock and then uncock it. Whereas if I just have less wrist cock, I'm going to have a little bit, but I'm not going to have as much as I normally do. I'll have less wrist cock, but I'm making sure that these are firing, making sure that this is firing. Even though the hands are going to come down first, or at least the kinematic sequence, the club is going to start first. It's not like there's a 2-second lag. We're talking about a millisecond. So there's a little bit of a lag. It's not like the club head and then the hips are finally catching up a second later. It's instantaneously, but on a computer, you'll see that the club head is starting first. And I would just work on dancing with this stuff to get this over and over and over and over. And you'll find when you chunk it, those hips didn't go anywhere. You'll find when you blade it, those hips didn't go anywhere. You'll find that you're still back here and you're not here. This is why you always see me doing this. Always doing this. So for ball striking, I'm doing this. And for finesse wedge, I'm doing this. For finesse wedge, I'm letting the club head pass my hands. I'm letting the club head pass my hands. But for ball striking, I'm not. Ball striking, I'm not. Club head is not passing my hands. Hips didn't stop. My hips are fully pointed towards the target. Matter of fact, look how much rotation is in that knee. But the club head's still behind me. It hasn't gone to here. This is great for bunkers. It's great for flop shots. It's great for pitching. It's great for pitching. But the way we train is here to make this a stock shot. We don't care. I'm not talking about how far it's going to go or what club I have in my hand. I want to make this move here to here so automatic that all you have to do now is put a club in your hand, 9-iron, lob wedge, gap wedge, doesn't matter, and then do this same sequence here. Hit 10 balls and see how far they go. Now you've got a known number with that club. So if you know that your known number with your lob wedge, with your stock finesse wedge shot goes 19 yards, and you only have 7 yards of the flag, that's where you're gonna actually do something like this.
Mhm.
That's when you're gonna actually do something like this. But you're not gonna decelerate, you're just gonna practice around the green 7 yards. You know that your stock shot here goes 19 yards, and if you got a 17-yard shot, hit it 19 yards and cut back 6 feet.
Oh, Dean, that's all good. I want to tie that all up with what Mike was saying. Mike, congratulations on your retirement. Good on you, my friend. I'm
Thank
a couple years younger or older or inversely younger, whatever the right word is. And my challenge right now, or my opportunity, is to establish my routine to do exactly what you said, Mike. You know, what do I do every morning? You know, I got your 4 rules of guaranteed success formula. You know, to me, that's at the strategic level, Dean. You know, I need to drive it down to the tactical level. Like when I get up every morning, I don't get on my bike, but I go to the rec center. You know, I do my mental stuff just like you do, not for hours like you do, but we all have our routines. And what I would like to be able to do, because, you know, that's the way I grew up in the military, you know, part task training, you know, that's what you got. So I want to go, when I wake up Monday morning, you know, this is the part task training I want to do. You know, and some of it will be the same thing every day. Some of it will be focusing on the things that you just mentioned. But that's kind of, I've come, you know, I'm 62 years young, and that's how my brain works. And that's how I measure stuff. I won't say I'm anal retentive. I won't say I'm impulsive, compulsive, or obsessive, you know, or type A, but yeah, I am to all that thing. And so that's the way, you know, people like me, you know, need to train. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah. So, you know, all your stuff, you know, you've given me 5 things to do already just on this short phone call. You know, I'm going to start with the stork drill, you know, never did that, you know, and then I'm going to redo part 1. I do it with you, by the way. You know, I put it in my garage. I don't have a basement like Mike, but I got a garage and I got a setup. You know, I'll do that. I'll follow you along and do it for 55 minutes or 32 minutes, whatever you do. And then I'll do the educated hands and path turn down, and then finesse wedges every day. You know, so that's where I need to structure myself. And it's not like I'm not disciplined, because I think I am, but I just need to be more effective and efficient in my personal training program. I'll stop there. I mean, that makes sense.
So then I'll just try to add something on there. So when we put together the best full swing part 1, that was to learn how specifically your body does a complete full swing back, and then how it does a complete full swing down to follow through and finish. So if you're having a challenge with distance wedges, then what I would do is I would start slow, get to 9 o'clock, 1001, 1002, 1003, look at it, confirm it, and then 1001, 1002, 3, and then I would start down 1001, 1002, 1003. That's a rep. All right, so I would, if you're going to train distance wedges, I would do 30 minutes of that rep over and over and over and over, or 15 minutes, or 6 minutes. 9 o'clock, I can look in the camera and confirm it. I can see it. I'm confirming it. I can see it. 1001, 1002, 1003. That looks good. I got a mirror here. I got a camera here. That looks good. I can even put the cone there if I needed to, but by now, that cone, by doing drill after drill after drill, it's already automatic. I'm no longer doing this. No longer doing this. You can do the wall drill. You can simply, I can pretend there's a wall right here by going like this, and put my hand right here, and bring my hand here. Now I know that that club, there's no way to hit that wall behind me. I can see it. Just holding positions, just holding it. Nine o'clock. The more times you do that over and over and over, it just becomes a habit. Then you go out and hit golf balls at a 9 o'clock swing. 9 o'clock. Hit 10 balls, see how far they go. Don't try and go for a flag that's 112 yards away and try and hit the flag. Just go to your 9 o'clock swing. Hit 10, 15, 20 balls and see how far they go. That's the way I'd approach that.
Okay, thanks.
And Greg, some of the things that you kind of broke down there a little bit, like doing the stork twist and different things, you know, your background in Tony Robbins, and he talks about his 2 millimeter, right, and his posture. What's one thing he talks to people about that? Every time you walk underneath the door frame, adjust your posture by 2 millimeters, right?
Right.
And so there's a book called Atomic Habits that kind of talks about that. And so, and Mike, this kind of goes with you too. Both my parents are in their mid 70s. They both have just recently retired over the last 6 years. And that was kind of helped them setting things up too. If Dean has you going through that for a half hour, and then you have to do this and this and this, all of a sudden it turns into a 2-hour block. It seems too busy for you. So where can you habit stack? So like the stork, every time you wake up in the morning, you immediately do that. Just as we age, helping that with your balance is good. Every time before you go to bed, you do it. Every time you're waiting for your coffee you brew it, right? The moment you walk in and you finish up your gym stuff, then maybe you're training that very specific drill Dean just went through for that 20 minutes when you're at the gym. So where can you stack some of those things that you're currently already doing rather than trying to fill in a 3-hour block, you're trying to get everything done? Because if we don't chunk that stuff down and put it in daily places, that's where lots of times people really struggle.
And Scott, I'm 100% with what you just said. But habits just don't form. You have to form them, kind of stuff. And like I said, like Dean and I have a lot in common. We make our bed the first thing we do every morning.
Yep.
Done that for many, many years. So it's exactly that, and when to do it. And, I got a half hour for sure today, to focus on golf. Here's my objectives that I want to accomplish. Here's the individual. Okay, I did 1 and 2. I didn't do too well. I'm going to redo number 2. That kind of structure, I think is helpful, particularly, there's other things going on, in our lives. But this is one of my priorities, one of my retirement priorities, and I want to figure out how to do it well, kind of like what Mike was talking about at the beginning of this call.
Yep.
Well, let's get you back on my calendar next week or the following week, and we'll put together a plan specifically, you and I.
Sounds good, Dean. Thank you very much.
So a couple of things that I want to do in 2022 is I want to grow our base. I don't know. Have you guys seen the movie yet? Have you seen that movie that we just did?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well done. Very professional. I like it.
Thank you. My goal is to get 400 more human kick-ass students like you guys. Remember, we're not bringing in everybody. We do phone calls for a reason, because it's something that I've got to commit myself to work with another human being, and I want to work with people we like. And so we're doing a 8-week contest, and the grand prize is a 3-day school with me the day after the tournament, the Valspar Championship. So it's 3 days. It's $5,100 if you pay for it yourself today. It's 3 days. Monday, it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the day after the tournament conditions right there at the Valspar Championship at Innisbrook, copyright course. And the grand prize is whoever sends us 10 students paid in full. You send us 10 students, and there's a simple way, and we'll send an email on how to make it so simple for you. All you have to do is connect 3-way Facebook message between you, me, and Scott. That's all you have to do. If you want to send them the movie, we'll send you the movie. You want to send them Low 70s Golf, we want to send the replay, whatever is easiest for you. But mostly it's just your reputation. You know, when I refer someone to somebody, they just trust me so much that they're just going to do it no matter what, as long as they want that outcome. So the grand prize, whoever sends us, the first person to send us 10 people that enroll, you get 3-day in-person training with me the week right after the tournament. Now, also, anybody you send us, we're going to give you a $500 gift card. $500 cash. You can give it away, give it to the homeless, give it to your nephews, give it to your grandkids, doesn't matter, whatever you would do with it. So anybody that you sends us that becomes a student, just like you, we'll send you $500 cash. But the big push that we want to do is we want to get more men and women like you in this program and help you become a better human, but also become a better, great golfer. Any questions on that? Any questions on how to make it easy for you to connect us with somebody that you know?
No, Dean, that all sounds good, but your biggest marketing and advertising is we getting better and proving to all our friends that this program really works. We can be your best disciple, based on, if I still suck and say I'm with Dean Chitrin, you don't want me to tell anybody that, but if I'm kicking and taking their money every Saturday, well, how did you get better, Greg? Well, it's because of Dean, so we're your either best or worst advertisers, so I want to be one of the best.
Cool. Well, obviously you've improved since you came in. Yes. Have you dropped 5 strokes, only 1 stroke, 10 strokes? What have you seen since you started?
Consistently about maybe 5.
Okay.
Mid 80s to low 80s right now, an occasional 88, an occasional 78, 79. But I want to be down there below 75 all the time.
Gotcha. Well, then let's get you on the calendar and let's figure out what's holding you back.
Okay.
Hey, Dean, when is the Valspar tournament or whatever? So how long do we have?
So the Valspar starts March 13th, Monday. It ends on Sunday, the 20th. They'll shut the course down on Monday, the 21st for repairs. And then it's open that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you have 8 full weeks.
Dean, correct me if I'm wrong. So you're going to go until February 28th with the contest, right? Is what you said?
Correct.
Okay.
That's just for the grand prize. It doesn't mean that you can't still, get down here and go to the school with me.
Yep.
It's all gonna be one-on-one. So there's other dates if you want to come down and see me. I know I got some people locked in for January already and April already. There's a few slots left in February because it's just one-on-one. Last year we did groups, but it's just gonna be me and you. So if you want to do that, Greg, if you want to take it to the next level, let's get you down here for 3 days with me and we'll get you to 74 all of 2022.
Okay. This has been helpful. This is good as always. I enjoy the discussions. Thank you.
Any other questions before I let you guys loose?
No. Hey, Scott and Greg, nice to meet you guys. Good conversation today.
You too, Mike.
Appreciate the new dialogue with everyone.
Yep,
Mike,
great to
thank-
meet you as well.
Mike, thanks for sharing that, John Wooden. That was awesome.
Yep, and 8/11 is actually my birthday.
Is that right?
Yeah. So when you said that, it put a smile on my face right off the bat.
Yeah. Well, it's literally on the picture below, I put the date so I'd never forget it. And yeah, no, the best thing, and I know we got to go. I got to share this real quick. Was I've got two boys that are now 27 and 25, but at the time, do the math on it, they were in traveling sports for baseball, golf, basketball, and everything else. And I came home and I talked to them about John Wooden and just his wisdom and experience and what he does and teaches people. And so Coach Wooden used to hand out these cards. And I had him personalize them for my two boys. And it's simple stuff, kind of going back to what I said. It says, Coach Wooden Sportsmanship Pledge. I will be a good sports when I win or lose. No whining, complaining, or making excuses. I'll always keep trying 100% to give my best effort in every event. This sportsmanship pledge will bring out my best. Coach Wooden has taught me how to be successful. And then on the other side, it's got his information on it and stuff. And so I brought this home and Coach Wooden had put their name and signed his name on a card for each one of them. Fast forward 2 years later, we're watching the ESPYs on Sports Center, and the person that won the honor of the Arthur Ashe Award that year was a basketball coach from South Dakota who had just gone through cancer, who found out about his cancer due to a car accident traveling in the middle of winter, coming home from a basketball game. And he's standing up there talking about, his first thoughts was to feel sorry for himself and everything else. All of a sudden, he pulls this card out of his suit coat as he's standing there talking and receiving the ESPY Award. And my boys looked at me, their jaws were on the ground, and they said, "Is that the same card that we have?" And I said, "Exactly the same." And you talk about a proud parent moment when your kids finally realize something like that. But there's many reasons why my precious 2 hours will always be a part of my life moving forward. But good stuff.
Thanks, Mike. That was nice.
Appreciate it. Love it.
Cool. Well, then I'll see you guys next week on my calendar. Dave, I'll stand for a few minutes to chat with you. Other than that, you guys have a great New Year's Eve.
Same to you guys. Take care.
See you guys. Hey, Dean. Hey, I'm just recovered from COVID, I'm back on the golf course today, a little sluggish, but I'm sweating it out, man.
Well, cool, man. So we did a really good training today. It had some good conversations. You have an opportunity to be an ambassador for you and for us and win that grand prize. I see you have a really good chance just by connecting Scott and I in a group chat on Facebook or email or phone, or Scott's going to send you some information that you can just fill out and make it real simple for you.
Right on. Yep. Yeah, I'm all in, man.
Any questions before I let you loose?
Yeah, I'm working on this finesse wedges. So my question is like the 20, the 30, the 40, it's all the same, right? I mean, you're just driving your thumb down and your index. It's the same thing. Isn't that right?
Yeah. So any further than 40, 35, you're going to be in the distance wedge area, but yeah, finesse is just right around the green, just pitching and chipping around the green. Absolutely.
Okay. Right on. Cool. Yep.
And then get back on my calendar next week and we'll cover some stuff.
Absolutely, I will. I'm just glad this COVID business is over, man. That is brutal stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, man.
Yeah, look forward to being on calendar with you.
All right, cool. We'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Scott, you can stay in a minute.